VinylCollector James, congrats on the 1,000 subs. Very well deserved. For those of you that are watching me that do not know VinylCollector James, James is one of those guys that I consider a hardcore collector. He has this artist that he's very passionate about, and if he is very passionate about a particular artist, you know, he goes after all of their published work. And you'll actually see a little bit of that if you watch his response to his own contest. So he's very passionate about Ryan Adams, and there's that one piece that he's missing in his collection. But there are others out there. So like off the top of my head, Joe Bonamassa is one of them. So if you like Joe Bonamassa, his channel is definitely worth checking out. So you'll see a lot of that. At the end of the year, he like takes his top 50 albums that, you know, he's been listening to, and he kind of ranks them. So that's always interesting to see at the end of the year. So if you're into those type of things, definitely check out James's channel. Now, James had 5 questions for his contest. So let's jump into it. So as you can see, question number 1, what is that one piece that you are missing in your collection? So I have a bunch of things that I've been seeking out for the longest time, and the one piece that I'm going to cover here, I've been looking for well over a decade now, and it is not a vinyl record. It is actually a CDR of all things. So, you know, one of the bands that I'm most passionate about is a group called Bent, which is a UK-based electronica duo. I find their music very interesting. They do a lot of samples, or they put a lot of samples in their music. They bring in a multitude of different singers, and I find that there's really not anyone like them. But anyway, after their first album came out, Programmed to Love, they came out with a album that was download only called Downloaded for Love, and I quickly downloaded it, but being a bit of an audiophile, I was not happy with the sound, so it came out on 128 kilobits, and Apple has even moved away from 128 kilobits. They went to 256. It did come out on iTunes on 256, so, and I do have it, so, you know, that should be more than sufficient. But, you know, there's a part of me that wants the CDR. I want the full-fledged WAV file. And this came out in a magazine of all things, and there was one sold in Discogs, and I must have been sleeping that day because I've missed it, and it went for a whopping $850. Now, would I pay $100 for it? Probably not. I could probably ask one of the band members who I've actually corresponded with a couple times for it, but I feel awkward. Hey, can I have this? But anyway, that is the one piece that, you know, I'd truly like to have. So, question number 2 was, give us a Desert Island disc. Have you guys ever seen the movie Castaway? So, if you haven't, Tom Hanks is a FedEx employee, and on this desert island he has a FedEx box that he just refuses to open the whole time he's on the desert island. I think any album I would have selected, my take on this would have been the same. I don't know if I would play it. If I did play it, I probably wouldn't play it that much because I think you can, at least to me, it would end up killing it for me if I had to hear it over and over again. So, like a lot of classic rock, I mean, there are some artists that I'm very passionate about, but I choose not to listen to it for a while because I don't want to kill what's good. But anyway, to show you my mindset today, the album I grabbed is a soundtrack, and I actually saw this movie in a Denver IMAX theater in 1985, and that is the soundtrack to the film Kronos. And Kronos is a time-lapse film that was filmed in over 70 countries, I want to say. And Michael Stearns did the music to it all. And this really started my love affair with Michael Stearns. Now, this is ambient electronic, but I want to say it's more symphonic in scope. It doesn't have a hard synth digital edge to it like a lot of 80s pop music had. It's very relaxing at moments. It builds in certain sections, and you know, there's nothing quite like it. Now, I have it on vinyl. I'm happy to have it on vinyl, but I don't recommend it on vinyl because it is an excess of 40-minute piece, and really having to flip sides kind of kills the flow of the music, if you know what I mean. And I really recommend picking it up digitally, and I do have it on CD. I've had it on cassette, but you can actually get it on Michael Stearns' Bandcamp page. Now, there were two other movies that came out after this, Baraka, it's Baraka P-Dub, and Samsara, and I recommend those as well. They kind of took Kronos to the next level. And but Kronos is the one that I really connected with musically, and I think the music is just fantastic. So anyway, this would definitely be my Desert Island disc. Question number 3, give us a road trip album. So, this is going to vary day by day for me. I mean, when I'm driving though, I want something that is forward to the floor. I want something that is going to get me moving. And, you know, I have to watch it because I want to avoid speeding when I hear a particular song. And, you know, there's some metal that does it for me. There's some jazz that does it for me. There's some classic rock that does it for me. But today I had to go with a band that gets dubbed EDM, which I hate labels. I think it's unfair because I think it oversimplifies the music. But the album that I chose is Blacklight by Groove Armada. This was the last studio album by this band. I think it was like 7 years ago when this came out. Now, this features this outstanding track with Brian Ferry. Brian Ferry is actually coming out with a solo album at the same time, Olympia. And the track that's on here was also featured on Olympia, but it was a different mix. But what I like about this is it has a variety, different singers, different styles. There's some original instrumentation here, so you know there's a acoustic guitar in one section, there are electric guitars in other sections. It is bass heavy. It does have a wonderful beat throughout, and so I find it very entertaining on a car trip. But let me just give you a sample.
In a shameless world, rock and roll desire.
wanna help you too. Leave behind all the faces. It's just you and me tonight.
So that was Blacklight. This was done at Record Industry, so I'm showing the dead wax here. You can tell by the imprint in the stamper that it's a Record Industry, because they're the only ones that have a stamper or inscribing like this. And then you see NS, and that is Noel Somerville, who was working at Metropolis Mastering at the time, and you know, the album was very well mixed. Now, Record Industry owns music on vinyl, and Groove Armada came out with a kind of a remixed version called White Light. Sounds the Brian Ferry track, but they put on this track called 1980, and you know, this is only a 1 LP set, but you know, Blacklight was on 2, and because I heard this first and fell in love with it, this is the superior version for me. So this has to be question number 4, if I can count right. He wanted us to show a piece in our collection that might surprise people. To be quite honest, I don't think anything in my collection would surprise anyone, because I have everything in terms of genres, styles. I mean, there are some genres which I do not delve into. I'm not big into certain styles of music, but you know, I have a little bit of everything. So, and then I have the recorded oddities, so nothing should be surprising. But you know, I had to grab something for this, and Dr. Robert also showed a similar album, so I got to show my Katy Perry picture disc. And this is a record store day thing that came out 2 or 3 years ago. Now, why do I have Katy Perry? Well, I have a daughter that, you know, there's a birthday song on this record that, you know, every time she's had a birthday, we've played the song. And I'm just thankful that, you know, she's not listening too close to the lyrics, because the birthday song could be a little bit provocative, like, yeah, right here.
So let me get you in your birthday suit. It's time to bring out the big balloons. So let me get you in your birthday suit. It's time to bring out the big, 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 big balloons.
So the last question. Show us an artist who has lyrics that most resonate with us, and or lyrics that you can relate to. And so off the top of my head, I had to go with one that I knew of immediately, and it is Beck's Sea Change album. Now this is the MoFi pressing, which is highly sought out, but you know, I just happened to get it when it came out. Thankfully, they not MoFi, but Beck put the album back out, and you know, I think his music should be accessible. I mean, this album should not be out of print. This is a 10 for me. It is about breakup, and the lyrics, you know, it talks about the significant other, and you know, how he feels about her at the end of the day, how he is progressing through this particular breakup. And when this album came out, I had just gone through a breakup of my own with someone that I was in a relationship for 5 years, and the album I could really relate to based on what I had gone through, so probably about the same time that he was going through his breakup. So to me, this is his magnum opus. I mean, you know, he has Mellow Gold, which is a fantastic album. He has Odelay, but I think Sea Change is by far his best album. Now this is a 2 LP set. The version that was just pressed, I think, last year is also a 2 LP set. So what does this sound like if you're not familiar with this album? Here you go.
Put your hands on the wheel, the golden age begin. The window down, I just wait the tides to turn till I learn to leave the past behind. There's only lives that I'm living. Sorry eyes that cut through bone, that make it hard to leave you alone, leave you here, wearing your wound.
So if you heard some of the lyrics, you know, that was what I was feeling back in 2002 or so when the album came out. But wait. I have one other group that I can relate to, at least in terms of their lyrics, and it is the President of the United States of America. No, not this guy. These guys. And let me show you why in conclusion.
I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. Peaches come from a can, they were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
So James, once again, congrats on the 1,000 subs. You don't have to put me into this contest at all. Again, I won my contest for the year, but I'm just happy to do a response for you, and for everyone that has watched me thus far, thanks for sticking through it. Catch you next time.